Okay, so we're just going to take you through HRP's onboarding system. I'm going to log in as an employee.
When you say you're logging in as an employee, are you logging in as someone that would be setting up open notice for someone?
No, this would be as a new hire employee.
Got it.
Yep. So when the employee logs in, this is what it'll look like. It'll be the same look and feel as when the employee logs in as a current employee as well. They go to online enrollment. And this will bring up the onboarding system. So the employees will be brought to a welcome screen. You can customize it to have information about your company, you know, the directions that they should go through and the steps. There's also another page of instructions and how the employees should walk through. This space here can also be filled with a video if you have, say, a safety video or just some information about your company, a company-wide video that you want to share. You can place it here as well.
So we have, one of the things that Loris did for the website was all the leaders have talked, or I shouldn't say all the leaders, a group of leaders have talked about the pillars. I think that'd be a good place that we could put something that has the link to it, that they could see it.
Yeah, definitely. You could put a link here as well. We could change this verbiage, of course.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
So then the employee will move on and they'll update their personal information. Some of this will pre-populate from the information that has already been added to start this process, but they can enter their email address, their address. All of this information will be open for them to complete.
With the email address, that's going to be something that's going to be created by the IT team. That wouldn't be something that they would send them. Or is that their personal email address?
Correct. They could put their personal email in here as well. It all depends on how you want to set the employee up. If you want to have the employee register themselves, then they would use their own email address. However, if you're going to register the employee and give them their username and password, then initially your email would be listed here and the employee could change it to their own.
Out there, shoot. And
if you generally, depending on the time frame as to when IT creates that email and sets it up, they could use their work email in this system as long as they have access to that to receive their password when they register. So they have to be registered to complete the online process. So they can use a personal email and then, as Gwen stated, they could change it here after IT has provided them with their work email.
The employee then can enter emergency contact information, the name, phone number, and relationship of that person, as well as they can do the EEO1 voluntary self-identification as well. Then I'll move on to the W-4 and what that looks like. So here it has,
before we go forward,
go ahead.
Gwen, before we go forward, I know, Michael, we were talking about, this might be a question for Kristen, of how we're going to do EEO, how we're going to track it, are we going to track it? Are we tracking it already for the companies that we deploy it to? Do you guys know? Or not?
I think we're tracking it for everyone, and now we're getting it tracking correctly. I mean, we're tracking on our regular. Yeah, you have to.
Yeah, we have to have on time to have it. Yeah.
So we are tracking EEO right now, because I know there was some confusion of yes and how much and how little of having a full EEO program.
I mean, I think we are, just,
Okay.
I don't know to what extent.
Okay.
Yeah, Laura, I'm not familiar with that either. I'll get more information about that.
Thank you. Thanks for stopping for a second, Gwen.
Yeah, of course. So this is the W-4. As you can see, there's instructions here, and the employee, if they click Next, it will take them through all of the worksheets if they want to fill that piece out, or they can click this button and skip the worksheets and just fill out the withholding allowance certificate. So since these have already been answered, they're blacked out, but when an employee goes through, the required fields are in red. So things that they must answer, it's kind of nice. It highlights those things so the employee knows that they have to answer them. So the marital status as well as the number of allowances are highlighted. They can pick and enter that information here.
Can you go through what it would look like if someone wanted to go through all of the pages?
Absolutely. So I'll just take you back to the beginning. Of course, this is where we were with the instructions. This is the W-4 worksheet, so they would enter their information here. And then here is where they can calculate their deductions and adjustment method. And then here's the rest of the worksheet here as well. And then the next screen will take them exactly where we were and where they can complete the rest of the worksheet and their certificate. So that's what it looks like if an employee goes all the way through, or of course they can just fill out the certificate. Then it gives the employees, they have to agree to the terms and conditions that everything they put on the form was correct. Once they agree, it'll open the PDF form and the completed form. So here you can see that the certificate is filled out completely for what questions we answered for the employee. And then it has them accept the terms and conditions again. So once when they enter the information, and then again once the PDF is filled and they've seen everything as complete. The state form is very similar. I won't necessarily walk you through all of that. We are updating the state forms, so they'll look a little bit different. They'll look more like the W-4 that you just saw. So right now, that's not exactly what this demo site looks like, but that's what they will look like in the future.
How are local tax forms handled?
I'm sorry, what was that?
How are local tax forms handled?
Yeah, so once the employee fills out the update personal information section and they pre-populate their address and their zip code will then pull up the correct state forms for them, as well as any of the local tax forms that they would need to submit and complete.
So what about with some of our properties in particular, like Detroit or Lansing or other places, if you don't live there but you work there, you still pay city tax?
Yeah, so
my husband works for the state of Michigan in Lansing, and we pay Lansing city tax.
And we can test it out or show you guys an employee as an example for that, but it is based on where the employee lives and works, the different zip codes. So it will pull up different county or local taxes based on the zip codes you provide. So if there's any specific examples you'd like us to look at, we can do that. But Open Notice does use an outside tax vendor to help them keep up with the compliance of all the tax regulations.
Okay. Did you get that, Judy? So basically, it'll pull from where they work as well as where they live.
Correct. Correct. So now it looks like for this, the I-9 has been completed, but I can kind of walk you through how that would work. So this is the completed I-9, but what a usual employee would go through, and it would pre-populate this information here at the top for them, and the only question they would need to answer is which of the following of these four do they fall under. And then, of course, just like the W-4, it pre-populates this form, and they can verify that all their information has been pre-populated correctly. I'll also walk you through the direct deposit setup. So the employee answers these questions if they want to participate in the paperless stub program, and then they can also add their account information here. It's kind of a nice feature. They have nice visuals so the employees know exactly what they should enter.
Gwen and Kara, can you make this mandatory? I know we had asked this before. I can't remember the answer.
The direct deposit, I don't believe we can. Well, they have, if you close out of here, they have the option add account or no direct deposit. I don't think legally we can say, we can force them to add an account, and we have to have the option for a no direct deposit. I believe.
Right, that's fine.
So if there's not, at least the last I've heard, we're not able to do that, and we have to ask if they want to. But if you have specific companies that prefer not to, then I think it's just up to them to push people to add direct deposit accounts.
All right, that's fine.
I'll also take you through the new hire benefit enrollment section. So when the employee goes through, all the plans will be listed here. They pick the correct plan and then the coverage option. So there's a nice fail-safe in here that if they pick a coverage option that they don't have the correct dependents listed for, then it will give them a warning message and they're not allowed to enroll in that specific plan.
I have a question. Since we're not using the carrier feeds right now, do you get a report? A lot of people who've gone through it that have Open Notice right now, or is it just not turned on for the? Or it makes it harder for us right now. But it is something that they could put their information in now. Okay. So once all Open Notice is rolled out, then we would say paper forms for benefits is over. For the companies that can use it. Yeah. Even though we don't have carrier feeds yet. Yeah.
We want them to, because at least what it's going to do is give students get set up. That'll be automated. Those things until feeds are going to be.
Okay. Did you guys hear that? Sorry, we were talking kind of quiet.
Not entirely. Just you were just discussing the carrier feeds to be put into place and to not use paper enrollment forms.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. So then down here as well, there's an estimated cost per pay period, so what their selection would cost them, and then the rate tables as well are listed for what each plan and level would cost. Then there's a review and submit once the employee has gone entirely through the benefits piece. They can look at what they've elected, the cost, the plan effective date, the plan name, the coverage level. There's also, they can save a summary of what they've selected. So it pulls up a nice PDF form if they, before they submit, need to go talk to a spouse or whatever have you. There's that option as well.
So is it a report that's created in the interim, or is it just someone would have to go in and manually look at everyone that's a new hire?
Oh, pull a report.
Okay.
Yeah, you can pull reports in HRP on the back end. So you can run an insurance certificate or any of your new hire benefit enrollment. So in here, this is just for the employee, for himself to view and save. So you can look at it before you actually submit. So if you need to take it home and review with your spouse, you can do that. And then once it's submitted here, it goes into a pending approval state. And then once it's approved in HRP, it's posted, and then you can run a report on what the employees enrolled in HRP.
Thanks, Kara.
Mm-hmm.
And since we're talking about benefit enrollment, where would someone go under my current benefits or my documents? Where would they go to see the actual benefit choices?
Yeah, that's here where we were. They can look under this kind of has a nice summary when they first come to this page of what benefits are here, but then they just walk through each of these. So like we were at medical, and then once they've made these decisions, they would just click next, and it would take them to dental, and then to vision, and so on and so forth.
Excellent. Thank you for going back. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. So then once they've reviewed all of their elections and completed the onboarding process, then if they click next, it'll tell them what still needs to be completed. So it gives them an update. It looks like they haven't completed their tax forms. Their benefits are not submitted fully. And this is a nice final step for the employees. When you are complete, it does give you a congratulations, welcome to the team. You've completed and submitted your onboarding.
Did the format for people looking at the I-9 document, Michael, was that ever decided? Because forgive me if I'm wrong, ladies, once someone does the I-9, someone still has to verify the documents at the site.
Correct.
I mean, has that been...
We talked about almost having like an HR liaison or someone in the office that would be responsible for confirming.
that ever was decided?
No, because we're not doing it right now.
Oh, it's only SBM and Senior Home Care Solutions that has it.
Well, even like our Chicago employees, I don't know what's happening right now.
No, they don't have it available to them yet.
No, I know that, but how is their I-9 application?
Got it.
Someone really needs to be doing it in person.
Clint. All right. Sorry we keep having sidebars. My apologies.
No, that's okay.
What kind of phone are you guys on?
We're just using mic and speakers.
Gotcha. Every time we talk, we hear ourselves talk again through your phone.
Oh.
Sorry.
No, it's not your fault.
Oh, it's fine.
It might be if you have your go-to meeting on mic and speakers, but you're on the phone, that might be the issue. I don't know. Sometimes go-to meeting is silly. But are there any other questions about kind of open notice and the look and feel of it, or any other questions you have for us? Do you want Do you want to see the manager portion of the I-9, how that would be completed?
Yeah.
You're gonna, you should.
I probably should since I'm going to have to screen it on it, but
Okay. So this is the manager side of it. So this would be where they would run the second portion of the I-9.
I'm not sure if anyone's talked to you about timing with this. You thought about timing?
I just wanted to find out what the hell had.
So the manager would go to Programs to Run. Their employee would be listed here. They would click Run. And then they would fill out the second part of the I-9. So they would fill out their name, the date, and then they would complete the documentation section.
That's where it gets verified by the manager.
So this is where they would list the type of documentation and the information here. And then once they submit this portion of it, then the employee's I-9 would be fully completed. So if you pulled up the employee's PDF I-9, their section would be completed, as well as Part 2 would also be filled in with this information. Any questions on this portion?
No
Well,
question.
if that does not get done, then that's when we get something back saying it has not been verified, right, within the 3-day time frame.
Correct. Yeah, there's currently an automatic email notification that's sent out to the manager saying, I believe it's been a while, but I believe it says you have 1 day to complete the I-9, or it might even be after saying that you need to verify this I-9. It's past due.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's multiple email notifications that were decided upon with like Michael, Don, and Julie that go out. We have different ones to our clients too. We have benefit reminders, new hire form acknowledgement reminders, especially the I-9 form since it has the 3-day deadline. So there's different notifications that can be sent out to employees, to managers, to HR, whoever needs to receive those to keep people on track.
Okay.
Any other questions, comments, concerns?
I'm not trying to minimize open notice, but is that the whole function of what it does, or is there anything else that's happening?
It's also used for annual open enrollment. So the entire new hire onboarding process and forms, and then annual open enrollment, all of your clients go in. And the benefits enrollment looks very similar to as a new hire, but all of your employees go online to complete open enrollment instead of using paper forms. And then all of that is imported into HRP.
Okay. That could be a separate conversation. I don't want to be confused. Do you have anything else? Kristen, did you have anything?
No, I was just taking it all in. It's the first time I've seen this, so just listening.